presentation here and we're ready to go.
Okay,
What, you're just a guest?
yeah,
You're-
my membership expired.
Don't worry about it. Have a seat and join up. I thought you were our presenter. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't know.
No, have a seat. All right. So, hi there, everyone. I don't have my whistle. It is 7 o'clock. Hey, everyone. Hi. Sorry, I don't have my whistle. So we are live here at Macomb Community College. This is the Warren Astronomical Society. And our talk tonight will be New Digital Telescopes by Dr. Gary Nichols. And we don't have a first-time attendee, but we have an old member who just showed up here. Hi there. We have a first-timer tonight? You're a first-timer. Hi. How'd you hear about us?
Actually, I saw an article about the astronomy at the beach.
Awesome.
Monday after it was
Awesome. Oh, it was a fantastic event, and I'll be talking about that tonight. So we meet at Cranbrook the first Monday of the month, and we have a observing night every fourth Saturday of the month at Stargate Observatory. And you can watch our previous previous meetings on YouTube. So let's see, David is online there, up there. You can renew your membership online via PayPal with David. So as a tradition, we like to go through the ranks and do a roll call. So I'm Bob Tremblay, president.
Dale Hollendahl, regular member.
Oh, David Solkowski, old member.
Oh.
I found out through an old member, Tim Spenacki.
Yeah,
Maybe Tim, is he still alive?
yeah, he teaches us astronomy and physics at Macomb Community College.
Still? Okay.
Yeah.
I was a student at one time.
I teach there too.
Yeah. Oh, well, good for you. So I learned more than anything at any university except at home. Really good. That's cool.
Tina Wong, park hearing member.
Dale Barton, there's vice president, I forgot my card.
Yes.
Angelo DiDonato.
Bob Burnett. Charles Strackbine, secretary.
Maria Bodnar.
Mike Dow. Marquez.
Peter Richards.
Hi there. All right. So again, you can renew your membership via PayPal or hit up our treasurer at Cranbrook. So WASP wearables are purchasable. We got T-shirts and other things from are purchasable from Marquez here, right there. You can see what's in our newsletter. So astronomy at the beach. We had a GLAC meeting on Tuesday night, and we had 2,800 attendees for the weekend. And oddly, we had $2,800 in raffle tickets. Well, they were $5, so it's going to be an even number. So the event is almost paid for again. We had an issue with the tent company that we used. One of the tents got they say one of the tables got defaced, but they did not pick the tables up on Sunday. It was not until Tuesday, and so any random person at the park could have done that over the course of a couple of days. So we're looking for a new tent company. So yay. GLAC is also we are having elections at Cranbrook. The positions available are president, first vice president, and treasurer. GLAC is also having elections in January, and the president and first vice president positions are available for that. And they've all said that they will be glad to help you for the first year through being an officer. So if you need to contact the board, you can contact us at board@warrenastro.org. David Levy is now. Okay. So astronomy in the news. Any guys hear about the record-breaking neutrino?
Yes.
Okay, a neutrino probably came from a distant galaxy, was spotted by the Cubic Kilometer Neutrino Telescope, KM3NET, a collection of light-detecting glass spheres on the floor of the Mediterranean Sea. I didn't even know this existed. On February 13, 2023, researchers monitoring the telescope did not notice the detection until early 2024 when they completed the first analysis of their data. The neutrino had 30 times the energy of any previously recorded neutrino. Yeah, no, if you don't know what a neutrino is, they're a elementary particle. They typically pass through normal matter unimpeded with no detectable effect. I've heard that they can pass through like a light year of lead and just no problem. And hundreds of millions of them are passing through every square inch of your body every second from the sun, wherever the sun is. So, exoplanets, we are past 6,000 confirmed, and that number is growing, and we have 7,700 candidates. And NASA is now incorporating Gaia DR3 aliases for exoplanet targets. So, new data for exoplanets. When it comes to asteroids, we're still at 1,000,004, but that number is climbing. And near Earth objects, we're at 39,007, so we're coming really close to 40,000. I remember when we crossed 30,000. Solar. This is from spaceweather.com. Multiple CMEs could spark auroras tonight. All week long, an active sunspot has been puffing CMEs toward Earth, at least 3 of them. Although CMEs are individually faint and relatively slow, hey, stop that. What are you doing? They could combine to cause a G2 class geomagnetic storm when they arrive on October 16th. Such a storm materializes, auroras could descend into a dozen or more northern tier U.S. states. So, yay, we got a lot of sunspots. Riyadh, are you online? No, Riyadh is not there. Okay. So,
I got a little tidbit of news.
what do you got?
Plane wave instruments. The telescope manufacturer down at Adrian, they have an open house once a year, and that's on Saturday. They've changed their name, news to me, because they merged with another company. So they're now called, the parent company, I guess, is called Observable Space. So they joined with a company called Our Sky, which was software. They're doing the hardware, and then there's the software. So I think they're still known as Plane Wave, but their website says Observable Space. Anyway, it's a free thing. They're the largest manufacturer in the U.S., telescope manufacturer, and they're based right here down the road. So,
yeah, we had an interesting conversation about them at the GLAC meeting on Tuesday. Tim Campbell said they're actually an offshoot of Celestron. Several of the people, they used to work at Celestron, and they wanted to build the kind of telescopes that they're selling, but Celestron wasn't interested in doing research-grade telescopes. So they formed this company. He said some of the electronics in Celestron telescopes is built at plane waves and vice versa. So
their software partner here now is like SpaceX former software developers too. So I mean, a lot of times that story's not uncommon to hear. You know, people do offshoots or whatever.
Should have Jeff do an update on them. Yeah, they mentioned that there was this open house that's in Adrian, so I guess it's a free open house if you want to go see some really cool telescopes. Go to Adrian.
It's interesting.
That you can find that on Plane Wave. We actually post that link in the chat, or if somebody could post a link in chat, that'd be great.
Same day as the gentleman mineral show here.
Ooh, yeah, and we're supposed to be going. I'm supposed to be going to that with my wife. Because they are she said she wants to be there at 8:30 because they open at 9 and they're having a getting rid of everything sale. So she's like, we're gonna be there. So again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, here on campus on Saturday, there's the Gem and Mineral Show. It's usually a 2-day event. Today it's just this year is a 1-day event. And I've run into John Blum like 3 times at this event. And yeah, so but it's to the point where when Connie's going down the aisle, she has a fantastic rock collection, and she had him in her classroom. And she's just walking down, going, "Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it." And yeah, that's about it. Can't do that for meteorites yet, but so anyway, that's this weekend here. Let's see, any observing reports? We got one thing I got to show here. Let's see if I got it up.
There we
go.
Little,
yeah.
That's
Thank you.
Different.
Find the Zoom. Share that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's an
So this is from Maria. Yeah, this is from one of our members here. She took a whole series of these things, but the dripping moon one was pretty interesting. So that's bring up this with photos. I probably need to reshare that, so stop.
I have a question.
I have an answer. Let's see if they match.
This is an old observation that I had. While sitting on my stoop, I don't use stoop because it's fancy. Anyhow, this is back probably, I'm thinking maybe November, maybe part of that. But I saw a chain of lights going across the sky.
Yep.
You're gonna see a whole lot more of them.
Yeah, it was, at first, I would see a light going across maybe about every 15 seconds or something. And then I saw it. Yeah, and then I thought. what was going on? All right, well, the people that I asked one was, yeah, guess, but that's what it is,
It's a chain of communication satellite, and they're the bane of astronomers. So anyway, Dale, you want to talk about this?
Okay, so this is Comet C 2025 A6 Lemon. This is perhaps the brightest comet we're gonna get this year. I think it's
Dale, are you seeing that?
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Okay.
You can see it on
there's a zoom
about
out.
magnitude 6.5. They say it might get down to 3, but
Where is it?
to find it, it's in the northwest. If you find the Big Dipper, the last star out cave, I believe. Due south or due below. Every night it shifts further up into the west.
Probably able to find that in Stellarium Web. Now, this is pretty interesting.
So this is taken with a C star in live stack mode. So it will take an image and then stack the next one and it builds up an image. But as the comet moved over here about 1 hour, you can see that was the path of the comet in 1 hour. So I have all the individual files and I plan on processing it so it will line the comet so we can see the tail better and so forth. So it won't be a smudge, but it will
This
be
is cool.
Yeah, I thought this was
it's interesting.
I thought this
I've
is
done
very
that,
interesting.
last year with the Shishinshan Dash Atlas, whatever, that one. That was actually a brighter comet than this one so far. But here you can see the tail, and that tail is dynamic every day. The tail has been changing. I've seen
Look at
other
that.
imagers who's like, oh, well, here's a series in multiple days.
All right, so you comet aficionados out there, the blue thing is an ion tail, and this is the white is a dust tail, right? Is that correct? Okay. And we don't. And I've heard that it had an anti-tail going forward, or was it the other comet that had the anti-tail?
I don't think this one.
No, that's
Shishinan.
that's 3i Atlas that had the anti-tail. All right. So, anybody else have any observing reports? What do you got?
Myself, Tina, and Maria were at the Detroit Public Library, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, last week, I don't know. For Observe the Moon, whatever. And
October 4th.
Yeah, observe the moon
we
night.
saw the moon. But
Yeah, moon.
Jennifer there asked me, hey, the moon, I can't find it yet, so I go on Stellarium. I pull up, oh, in an hour, it'll be above the trees. But on the app, I see the ISS dangerously close. And I fast forward, and it's gonna pass right in front of the moon.
We saw it.
Wow, right in front of the moon.
The path was like Saginaw through Pontiac, through Detroit, down into Ohio. It was probably only 2 miles wide. But we set up, we got to watch it straight right in front of the moon.
Get pictures.
No, because we're observers.
Oh.
not photographers. And then a few weeks before that, not the most recent one, but I snuck into Stargate for the second to last transit of Titan across Saturn. And I was just able to make out the shadow. Didn't go for it the second time because the shadow was like right on the edge.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough.
So
The last one was a partial.
15 years, we'll get some more,
Serious?
Yeah.
That long? Wow.
something like that.
Yeah, it's the angle. We can't see the shadow. It's, yeah.
So how much longer before we start seeing rings again? A couple months?
The rings are supposed to be as edge on as they're going to be mid-November. So I'm gonna go, I have some events mid-November that I'm gonna try to see if they, I guess if you look with binoculars, you'll definitely not see. But I wanna see how good of a telescope can I still not see them?
I thought the rings went like edge on like in April or something.
They did, but because of the interplay of the two orbits, you get a dip and then back and then dip.
Ah,
So we're in it's not as edge on. It's like 0.03 degrees.
I didn't
Wow.
realize it passed the.
And then it's
Okay.
gonna start opening up again over the next, 8 years.
Does it go the opposite way? Is it like tipping up?
Oh, I don't. I haven't looked at it that closely. I just know edge on mid-November. So like astronomy at the beach, it was like a pencil. Hopefully it's gonna be like a razor.
Any of the public ticked off? They couldn't see the rings?
I didn't hear any complaints.
Okay.
But they probably don't know that it could have been better for them.
You're right.
Oh,
Stargate. this
7
is
years, it'll be really
19.
nice, right?
Yeah, like, if you've never seen Saturn through a telescope and you see Saturn, there's a pencil across it, you go, that's Saturn, they go, oh, okay, guess that's Saturn, saw the ring, I don't know. Not like pictures.
okay. Any other observing reports? Otherwise, let's take a 20-minute snack break. So online, we will reconvene, let's see, 10, 20, at 22.
Can I make a small outreach?
You can.
thing?
Come on
Just
up.
I won't name any names, but I wanna thank
Oh,
anyone who participated in astronomy at the beach. And if you just partook of the event, also thank you, because that also helps. As far, I missed the meeting, I'll talk with you during the break, the GLAC, were you at the GLAC
Yeah,
recap?
yeah.
Okay, I wanted to just know how everything went.
2,800 over the weekend, 2,800 on the raffle.
Yeah.
So, and GLAC needs a president.
Anybody
and
here
a
win
vice-
anything? No?
No,
No?
no.
No?
Didn't try.
On the
Oh, yeah.
scope.
Okay.
I donated something. We got raffled.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Plane Wave, if you want any details, I can get them for you. I spoke with their kind of head of, what do they call it, like other operations, like the open house. And it's smaller this year. Normally it's a 2-day thing. It's only 1 day. It's only Saturday. They're not doing as much like food trucks. They're not bringing my simulator out there, but they are still there. If the weather is good, they will still bring the telescopes out to look through them. If you're curious,
Good.
no, it's not gonna be good. I wasn't thrilled with the skies when I was there, but it's still like you get to look through a nearly $1 million 1 meter telescope if they bring it out. So worth it just for bragging rights. Let's see. So if you need any of the details, I can give them to you. You can also probably look on the YouTube for whenever I gave my 15-minute talk on the open house last year. Gem and Mineral Show. Same
Meteorites.
day. Yeah.
Connie
Other
was
cool
directing
stuff.
Connie was directing people there to buy meteorites. That's where I got a lot of mine.
And then if that's not enough for you, I'm speaking at the 7 Pond Club the same night. About the Gemini simulator.
Oh my goodness.
There's stuff
We're
to
not-
do Saturday.
We're not busy or anything.
Well,
All right, so take a break, snack break, 20 minutes, reconvene at 20 minutes to, and we will have our feature presentation. So get a bio, get a munchie.
Hey, speaking of rings, Saturn's rings.
You will bring up Stellarium Web and find out where that comet is.
Yeah, 24-inch dolls.
Oh, okay.
When's the comet visible? Morning?
Huh?
Morning? The comet?
I wouldn't know because I'm not a morning for, yes, it is.
Okay.
A lot of hours, Dr. Nichols.
Hi there.
Yeah, and I'm not, I'll correct that when I, that's all right. I was the
Right.
administrator at the hospital.
24-inch doll. I don't know what the other guy.
Going on there. Who's sharing that?
Okay.
Hi there. I don't know what's going on here.
I don't have.
And you are?
Yeah.
I'm Bob. Hi,
Bob.
Bob Tremblay. How you doing? Right, so
They also.
somebody is sharing stuff on Zoom here.
You know. And I had.
That ain't me.
Getting Miranda, they ate that Miranda.
I'm sharing the pictures that are going to the calendar.
Oh. Okay, so let's bring this up.
So explain.
Okay, do you need presenter? No, you don't have, do you have any notes? You just want it to go up?
No, just to show off.
All right.
Name tag.
I've done it.
It's also.
Got them all in the,
Beginning? There they are.
Name the bucket.
and you have a device to,
Sounds like.
that, you should just use the mouse.
Yep. Let's see,
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
So Jay, you sent me an email about my presentation.
Bring out that.
Saying that thing
or,
talk about that. I haven't.
I got something.
Yeah, I can't remember. Hey, Matt, running. Huh? Yeah.
Also.
Thank you.
let's do that. Ken, not Bob, let's change the name.
Lots up here.
All right, so now single player, all right, so put that up here, so your face is visible to our audience.
Okay.
And that go away, you go away, please.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, that goes there, okay, so.
And so just click the mouse and it'll go.
Yeah, you can just scroll it or click it.
Scroll it or click it. All right, I've got it.
All right,
Good.
all right, so I'm gonna stop the share on that and I want to get back on here and check Solarium Web morning. Let's go 5. All right, so where's that comet? Is by the Big Dipper? Ursa Major?
Directly south,
There,
and then it veers off to the northwest.
oh, there's the Dipper.
We can speak humbly that we definitely need to promote the we always do about the committee members.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
That 5 board members can't run this club. I think you need 3 assistants. The treasurer needs a assistant.
Yeah, good, definitely.
Outreach needs like a street team. I'm just saying, you look at some of these other clubs, a mineral club, if you go on their website, they have more engagement, so. How can we get more engaged on this? It's a question, maybe we got to talk it.
I'm actually thinking of doing.
I don't need to interrupt. Am I interrupting?
No, you do.
Any comments or complaints via Gemini simulator that
No.
came back?
Or the guy said it was awesome.
Oh,
Really
that's
enjoyed
cool.
it.
I didn't get to talk to you,
Yeah,
so I kind of took them all over.
yeah.
And so, yeah, you want to see the moon? Yeah. So he goes to the moon. He's spotting craters.
No way.
And I go, I've never had someone, because I know where it is as I set up the sim. So it's naming the crater. So I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nobody's naming the correct craters. He knew he was in the northwest quadrant like that. It's like, oh, I know right where
I
I'm
can
at.
tell that thrills you for sure. I'm so glad.
I mean, that's a deep nerd. That is so nerdy. Oh my God. Because the
That
thing,
made it right, I'm sure.
we've all seen it flat as a pancake, right? Mostly Apollo nerds and Apollo astronauts are the only ones that see it
I thought
on
it was
a
the coolest.
skewed, you know, oh yeah, you know what Tycho crater looks like. You don't know what Tycho crater looks like from 50 kilometers up and 200 kilometers downrange.
There's a couple
But other guys like,
of
oh, that there at Harkins. Hilarious. Oh, that's not my fault. And I wanna know from you, how sure are we that Monroe is gonna be a go for the soon?
I just got a,
Cause I gotta make a decision on insurance.
I just got a, letter from the lady that runs the Big Boy vending.
Okay, where is that
And she
comment?
wants in, so I gotta see about my partner, so I don't know. I haven't-
Swan compared to Lennon.
Yes.
Look at this. I got Stellarium Web up here. Look at this. Jeff, look at the screen.
Baker.
The satellites.
Yeah.
Oh,
One was a lot.
try finding the section of the sky that doesn't have.
Hey, Dale, where's the comet? I mean, I got Ursa Major here. Where is it?
Does this have the latest comet data?
I don't know. What's the name of
You're on
it?
Stellarium Web.
Yeah.
It does.
What's the name of it?
Type A6 space lemon with 2 M's.
Is it in the something?
The Big Dipper, it's below LP. So the normal app.
Well, what are you saying?
Oh, there's satellite Starlink.
That's crazy.
Swiper.
Yeah, I don't think it has it. I don't think the web has it. I'll have to bring up the app.
You bring up the app, but you have to download the comet data. It's a good idea to do
Launching Stellarium. Looking for the comet. I launched Stellarium Web, zoomed in on Ursa Major, and there's just an absolute ton of Starlinks going through it. Crazy. All right, so 5 a.m. 5, 2, 4, 5, 8. All right, there's the Big Dipper. Comet data. All right, comet data it is.
Say no to that, it is, we're gonna be. Teach us. You might be gone, and on, it was a wise, you know, I'll be together. Oh.
Oh my God, it's been so long since I've done this.
Goes out to students, then to.
Hey, Dale, where is that?
Huh?
Why can I not find this?
Okay, so
Configuration?
go to configuration,
Yeah,
go to,
tools.
actually, I'd like to go, go to the window below the timer on the left, the third one down.
On the left.
Left, no, up there, that sidebar, up to 3, that one. And then go to SSO, Solar System Objects, Solar System Editor at the bottom, right there.
God, make this easier to find.
Middle tab, Solar System, hit down, import elements,
It's the optical.
then comments, then select the bookmark. Click down, NPC's list of observable comments, get orbital elements. Should give you a list. I just select all of them. Atom, Now it should be there.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
They can actually.
I should know how to do this.
I had to Google it, I had forgotten.
All right, so I'm looking for lemon now.
June 18th?
Comet C,
Think I-
out of lemons. Which one is it?
Right now.
Holy mackerel. A lot of lemons. Which one is it?
Ace, 2025 A6. Actually, do A6. Don't do it that. Go back.
You make it so that the ship without the side.
There it is.
All right.
I can find it.
So that's today, yeah, zoom out a little bit. Where's the Big Dipper?
Right here.
What time? Oh, is that morning?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, what's going on?
Let's check evening here.
Yeah, I took it right before sunset. So people, I think you can see it in the morning and the evening right now.
You can, look at that. That is cool.
Space telescope, having replaced for.
So for those online, I brought up Stellarium. The comet is near-ish Ursa Major, and it is visible both at sunset and before sunrise. So that's pretty cool.
Most of the images that we've seen in the past few weeks have been
I will
morning ones because it wasn't visible in the evening.
I will share this. I'll share this with our audience here. Let's see. Zoom,
Do you want to write it?
share, Stellarium. There we go. All right, so we got Stellarium up here. There's Ursa Major right there. This is tonight. And there's a comet. This is right after sunset.
You that aren't with us, which doesn't help you. You only set up these styles.
Yeah, tomorrow. Let's see.
If it's not there.
Disappears for a while in the early morning and then comes back up
No, I've seen.
before sunrise.
I don't know why I've never. gotten
Sounds like it's on hell.
So that is Comet Lemon, A6 lemon.
Yeah. I like that. Google store or online.
Yeah, it's down over.
Okay.
Right, so we got PowerPoint.
I got a phone.
Yeah.
What? It's digital one.
Alrighty.
And doesn't work on this. Alright, yeah.
Your fast optics is really good for comments.
That both points I did. Alright, I'll try to find it.
Yeah.
I can promise that I'll make them an observation.
Didn't take too many frames.
It's hard to get out there. Oh.
The person I was with was rushing.
This is. Bought a house last year.
Swan, yeah, I don't know where that Swan is located. You could probably find it in the.
4 times.
Oh,
Yeah, and usually I'm putting up something.
It's a little handsome, I'm kind of.
He
decided. Just the same. Whatever. It's
Probably gonna be the last one, right?
Okay, about 5 minutes.
Is that how that
Before we
works?
go, each presentation.
And then we gave you this one. So there's 10, here's what's probably.
Every.
So, I'm just missed. They're now. We do announce it every meeting, so not.
I always forget.
So if you ask like, in the first 3 meetings when I had them, but nobody was. So it's like life, so.
We have so many Dales here, you know.
Well, I think, you're going to a public event. And you're gonna go to a public event.
Instead of setting up. I'll describe.
I think that's really hard.
It's out.
I think if you do, it's a little more than a dollar.
Friends and meeting places.
I don't,
Now going down
has it passed the sun?
Well, let's see.
I thought it's still coming in. It might get a tail, I don't know.
Thomas. Southern Constellation.
Every once in a while, not regularly. After her last.
I
I
used to Larry and
I
Fine.
gave a lecture.
Southwest,
Couple months
Yeah.
after last month. Today, they gave the presentation last.
that's probably the second best comment I see right now. There's always comments up there, but they're very faint. But, I think one
A little bit further. So there's,
or two small.
they make appearances, they're not right.
Good in the southern hemisphere in September or something like that. I thought we were both of them in the same field of view. It's from like Australia.
First time.
I'm like that.
Oh.
They come in and it's like, okay, are we gonna get lucky in the northern hemisphere? Like, no, there's only missing in the southern or whatever. One was both.
I know, I'd have to, this other thing.
That's fantastic.
I see her, got it.
Yeah, so I had a buddy, so I bought this thing.
But yeah, your 6-inch fast telescope is perfect for comments because they move so fast you want to take shorter.
What's that?
Like I was with Dave and I had my friend. And I was thinking I took like 70 frames. And seconds to 70 frames. Told me to stop. I do it again. I tried again because he said if I keep taking frames.
Mirror.
Yeah, be distorted or whatever.
Like what's about my image?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna post process it after that, but it's a while.
Well, the thing is, I did 2 times. With 70 frames.
All right, 2-minute warning. Get your last bio, get ready to reconvene for our future presentation in a couple minutes.
Here, and then the first time that I did the 70 frames, the stars here and comment right before that star. He says I can snap out those. I got one, no, 210 frames. Snap it out. And then I was wondering, since the comment so much, where were that to those 2 stars that
You sort of have to pick,
yeah.
you know, when you recombine it. In astrophotography, for this sort of thing, what you do is you remove the stars. There's a way in software to remove the stars, and you process the stars separately. And then what you do is you take all your comet images and then you align on the comet head. You can like pick the comet head, and as it moves, it will align it with the stars. Then you remove the stars and just process the comet.
All right, everyone, Dale Parton is going to introduce our speaker tonight. Sure, I'm actually, can you hear me, Dale?
I'll put that on.
You ready?
Testing. Dale, can you hear
Loud
me?
and clear.
Fair change.
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, well, there you go.
Do I need to be by my?
No, the microphones are these things right there. They are just ridiculously sensitive. You're good.
So even if I have over here? Yeah, okay, all right.
Probably get to see it be over.
Yeah.
Nobody online will be able to see where you're pointing at. There.
Yeah.
Use this as a
Think
point.
about the.
Oh, okay. Best if you stay here.
Okay. All right, so I should look at this screen.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Feel a little bit more like a teacher here, but yes, that's cool.
Portugal. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I'd just like to say that at our meeting, at our next meeting at Cranbrook, we will have election of officers. Just want to emphasize that. We're particularly looking for somebody to volunteer to run for treasurer. So
Voluntold.
Can't count.
also at Cranbrook, our next Cranbrook meeting, we're going to have again a presentation by Rick Hill on solar cycle 25. He tried to give it previously and the technology messed up. We've taken steps to make sure that doesn't happen. We hope. Again, then when we're back here at Macomb next month, our own Bob Tremblay will give a presentation on the interplay between two of his favorite things, science fiction and astronomy. Tonight, we have Gary Nichols, who is a self-taught astrophotographer. He learned in the School of Hard Knocks.
Good teacher.
Yeah, it's a good teacher, that's right. An expensive one, though, usually. Right? I'm getting some affirmative nods. And he has experience using a variety of instruments that he's going to tell us about. He enjoys doing astrophotography on his own and also enjoys sharing his experiences with other people. So he's here tonight for that. Gary?
Thank you. Thanks. I'm from Ann Arbor and from the University of Michigan. I worked there 30 years at the health system. I'm not a doctor. I think the announcement said doctor. I'm not. I was an administrator at the hospital. Yes, yeah. Thank you. So how did I get started with this? I'll be very honest with you. I actually was talking with somebody who's first timer here, and so maybe it'll help you. But I love the pictures in the books. You know, I saw those pictures in the books, and I just absolutely loved it. So I bought a telescope and I went outside, and it was 4-inch Celestron. You know, I thought, okay, not like, $500, but it's gotta be good, So, and I'm looking around, and I still remember the first night calling one of my friends at the university who's in the physics department, and I said, hey, I did the polar alignment, and I know I have everything right, and I went to M31, and I'm looking for this huge object, and it's a little fuzzy in the middle of the screen, but that's why he said, well, what's that? He started asking me questions about the scope and the eyepiece. He said, well, that's what you'll see, and I said, as your vision gets better, you'll see a little bit more. And I thought, well, where's the blue and where's the red and all that kind of stuff? And so that was my first hard knock, I guess you could say. So that was in 2016. So I started doing research before. I thought I'll buy a bigger telescope, and a bigger and bigger one. And so then I got into, I remember reading EAA. What is EAA? And I started reading. I thought, well, this sounds like a great idea. And there happened to be a company called Unistellar that was doing a Kickstarter right then. And so I thought, you know what? It's expensive, but I'll try it and see what happens. And that was the start, basically, of my journey. I went through EAA devices, several of them, and then I decided around COVID that I'll just take the plunge and say, because you can go so far with them.
And then if you say, well, I really want to make some beautiful pictures, I'm going to get into astrophotography. And then I spent some serious money to buy a rig to do that. And then realized, you know what? You got to have the tools on the computer to do it. So then I went the whole route of PixInsight, and I signed up for all the tutorials and taught myself that. And throughout this whole process, I decided, you know what, there's a lot of people out there that say, well, what can these smart telescopes do? How far can they take you? What do they accomplish? What are they good for? So that's really what this presentation is about. So see if I can go to the next slide.
Roll off.
There. Did I go too far? Okay, that went too far. So right now I've had to change the slide a couple times, given this presentation before, but there are basically 6 main companies right now that produce either one or more EAA devices. And that concept is getting a little clouded out there, especially the way ZWO is going now with their Air devices and their Duo devices, because you can see they're trying to pile more and more functionalities into one device. But by the way, anybody here own like a C-Star? That seems to be the most popular one.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? When I gave this presentation the very first time in Ann Arbor, no one had them. Our club didn't even have them. Since then, the club bought one, and several people in the club have bought them. But I would always bring them. I brought them 2 years ago to astronomy at the beach. I had a Unistellar, my Vaonis, and the C-Star had just come out at that time, and brought all 3 of them to that. And people would just go by and look at the iPads and say, "Oh man, that is really cool," you know. But anyways, these are the 6 companies that my presentation focuses on. There are some other ones, but we're going to go through each of these vendors and look at, you know, what type of offerings they have. I'm going to look at both the specs of them. I've got some images from some of them. I do not own Celestron's Odyssey. I thought about it. I just don't know if it's one I want to get. The one I'm currently working on is a Spectrum. Spectrum makes the device that has the largest focal length out there. So I thought that would be the one I would try next. I don't have any photos from it yet, but that's the one I'm currently working on. I own 2 Unistellars. I own a Vaonis. I own 2 ZWOs, and I've owned all the dwarfs and have given them away, and or sold them. I'll just tell you why as we go through this. I'll give you my thoughts on this, and then I'll wrap up with like pluses and minuses of each of them, and then in general what these devices can do and what they're good for. Okay. Yeah. So Celestron, like I said, they make one device. It's relatively new, less than a year out there. It's called the Origin. It's a RASA type device. It's
What does that mean, RASA?
It's I don't know the technical terms of it, but basically it's a reflector that has a short focal length. So
Rowe, Ackerman, Schmidt.
yeah, it's got its names.
Right.
If you know any of those 4 people or 3 people, you're better off than one. But it's very expensive, but the pictures that have come out of it are nice. But when I compare, that's one of the things you're going to see as I go through this, because my first one cost about that much, my Unistellar, and the quality difference between that Unistellar and a C-Star, you're going to have a hard time justifying 4 times the cost. Yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you as I go through this. I'm not salesman for any of these companies, but you will get a little better quality, but not to the level that you're paying for. But you know, it's a curve. Also, what you're going to find out is that all the images I have here are unprocessed. So they're what the device itself does. They may do some processing and they'll do stacking and things in them, but they're not processed through PixInsight. If you take this data, because you can take the data out of these machines, it's a little different for each vendor, and put it into software of your choice. I use PixInsight, and you can do a much better job at processing it. But These are all not processed, so you can see just the general difference between what you're gonna get when you're looking at it on your cell phone or your iPad. Okay. And if you have any questions, go ahead and you can ask them anytime. Dwarf Lab, they've actually had 4 versions. The first one didn't survive very long, the Dwarf. They had the Dwarf 2, then they did what they called the Dwarf 2 Deluxe, but there's really no technical differences between those two. It was just some add-on things like a filter and other stuff that you got a bag, carrying bag with it and stuff like that. And their latest one that came out is the Dwarf 3, which is a little bit bigger. It went from the 24 mm size to a 35 mm size, and the focal length was a little bit longer. I've had the first 2. I have not had the third one. They tout this as not only an astronomical device, but also a terrestrial device you can use for wildlife and panoramas and things like that. I found it to be the software to be a little clunky compared to the other ones, and not centric on astrophotography. It was more centric on just photography in general. So I would not recommend those ones for anybody. Just because I don't, if your idea is, I want to get into astrophotography, but just not into a big way, and I'd like a cheaper device that's light and I can just pop it in the backyard or on my deck or whatever. These are probably not the devices you would start off with. Spectrum is one of the newer companies that's in. They have 2 models. They have the 53 and the 127. The 127 is the one that I've just purchased. The 53 is a refractor, whereas the 127 is a maxed out Cassegrain. Like I said, it has the largest focal length. So one of the things I'm looking to do with this is I tend to like galaxies a lot, or nebulas a lot more than galaxies. So I've not really photographed a lot of galaxies. So I'm looking at this to try and see how much better it does with galaxies with the longer focal length, but we'll see. It's a little bit pricey for in comparison to some of the other models. But like I said, it is the largest focal length device out there right now in the general market. Yeah, I will say this before I go through, if I forget at the end. Spectrum though, so like you said, I've only had it like 2 weeks, and their user interface, not ready for prime time quite yet.
Guys.
You know, so if you've looked at the forums, I don't know how much you keep up on those, but at the forum, they're constantly fixing. So if you had it 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks, there's already been 2 updates. So that's a lot for a device that's up there. Unistellar, one of the companies that's been around for the longest amount of time doing this, but also, and I love Unistellar, I used my first one, but a little overpriced for what you get, okay? Meaning that the bells and whistles you see on like the C-Star 50 or the 30, you're not going to get here, like your autofocus. Unfortunately, only the last 2. So when they went live with their first Kickstarter, it was the Equinox and the EV scope. The difference between the Equinox brand or Equinox line and the EV scope line was, I thought, a gimmick, but it has an eyepiece. And you look through that eyepiece, it's not a visual eyepiece. It's just duplicating the same thing that's put on your screen. It's a digital eyepiece. Okay. So, but they did it because people really wanted to, with a telescope, be able to, bend down and look through.
Say for outreach, it
Yes.
makes a difference.
Yeah, look through here instead of, you look at an iPad, people say, is that just coming off the internet, But that was the difference. So I went with the Equinox. Then I purchased afterwards, about 2 years later, I purchased the Equinox 2. They made some modifications to it. The differences between the Equinox and the Equinox 2 were not really worth it, in my opinion. But just to give you an example, even with the Equinox 2 and the EV Scope 2, they do not have auto focusing on there. It's a round button for, it's about that big around. It's a round thing on the back that you turn to do the adjusting for your focus. Putting a filter in a unistellar telescope is a feat of finger gymnastics. So if you think about it, it's a reflector. So at this side, we've got our glass thing, and we've got our little mirror, secondary mirror up here. You have to tilt that so it's like this, so because you don't want it falling in there, and you got to reach through the spider webs with your finger in like this and your other finger in like this, and then screw it into this. That's how you get it in. Yes. And because it's done that way, you put the filter right in front of that secondary mirror. You've changed the focus, so you've got a focus cam, and it's a little hard to focus those devices once you get any type of substantial filter in there, but it can be a challenge. But anyways, I love those scopes. One thing I really like about them that is different than the S50 or the S30. If you've seen the S50 or S30, you'll see it take a lot of time while it's processing your first 15, 30 or 60-second thing, and you'll see it, and then all of a sudden it will just pop on the screen, with M13 or whatever you're imaging. You don't see anything gradually. These devices were set up to gradually do that. So you see it every like 5 seconds, you'll see it get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit. So when you're doing outreach with those devices, people walk by and say, well, what's that? And you'll say, well, just stand here for a second, and they'll watch it. And then all of a sudden the stars will start coming in, and then they'll just brighten and brighten and brighten and brighten. And brighten. It's really good for outreach. And I've always said, if you're looking at just outreach for the general public where you want to show a screen of something that's out there, these devices are really good, but they're quite a bit more expensive. The newer ones, the Odyssey and the Odyssey Pro, were made to fix the problems with the Equinox and the Eviscope. So they have things like autofocus, they have a panorama, they have different methodologies for the darkening of the sky and stuff. One of the things, though, that this company suffered from in the very beginning was your data. So believe it or not, 2 years ago, they finally changed that. But up until that time, so from 2017 to 2022, to get your data, you couldn't plug it into that unless you jailbroke the device, but you couldn't plug your computer into the machine and download your data. You still can't do that. The data is always their data, not your data. So when you get done with a night of imaging, you hook this thing up to the network. I mean, it's got Wi-Fi, and it takes 3 hours to download this to their website. And the next day you'll get a link to say, would you like to get this in FITS or whatever, whatever format you want. And you can get the data. Now they actually have a repository. You can just go out there and get the data anytime you want. But it was really cumbersome to get that data for quite a while. It's a little bit better now, but still not like what a device is, because I mean, basically you should just be able to plug these in. And the reason they do that is they are big into citizen science. So there are a lot of programs that they're in. I did 2 of them. I thought they were really interesting. They have 3 different categories of programs that they put people in, and you can sign up to do things like oculations or any. Then they have all different kinds of things, and you just have to dedicate a certain amount of time at a certain target, and then send your data to them, and they collate the data, for thousands of users. So it's pretty interesting, but again, a little bit higher price for what you're getting, and really more. My photographic techniques on these are not any better than on the S50. And if I put them side by side, you'd say you wouldn't be able to judge the difference between the two. And for, like I said, 3 to 4 times the cost, or more, it's not really where I would start if I did it over. Vaonis, really great machines. They have the best user interface. I don't know if does anybody in here own a Vaonis? No. So I had the Vespera, and then the Vespera Pro. I had the Hestia and realized, okay, there's junk. So the Hestia is this. It was it's about this big. And you put in it, and it has like two sliding things in it. You put your phone in there and hook it up, and it lines up the picture on the camera on the phone. So it was a gimmick. So stay away from that. The Vespra was cheaper than the Unistellar. And like I said, it came out of the box with a lot more functionality than Unistellar's offerings. It had autofocus, it had panorama shots, so you could do a mosaic and things like that. Also, it's just better optics in it. And like I said, the user interface was a lot more slick than Unistellar's. Unistellar has updated theirs over the years, but it's still not up to the speed that Vaonis has done. Vaonis's workhorse though of their line is the Selena, and I don't have one, but a friend of mine has it, and it produces beautiful images. It's a much bigger scope, obviously, with it being 80 millimeters. But it's also $4,000 for 80 millimeters. So you're talking about a serious investment. And if you look at that, for $4,000, you can buy a decent astrophotography rig of the same size. It's just you have to do all the coordination of all the things. You'll get a much better picture from a standard astrophotography rig, but you have to do all that work. This, you just plug it in and it comes. ZWO. So this is one most people are familiar with. They have two models. They will have another model probably the first quarter of next year. Their CEO has stated that the pipeline is an S50. They haven't came up with the term for it, but it's going to be an S50 Deluxe. They're going to be doing a bunch of updates to it, but the one that I'm really waiting for them is they haven't said whether it's going to be a 70 or an 80, but there's going to be either a S70 or an S80, but it's not going to be here till 2027. And just if half of the things that they've mentioned they would do with that are true, it will probably be worth it. The price point for that is going to be around $1,000. It will be equatorially mounted instead of Mount Azimuth. It will also have and they're going to probably use their duo technology. It will have a guide scope built into it. And like I said, who knows what they're actually, but that's the one that's the functionality they've committed to right now. But there are other ones that they've said could be part of it, but no one knows if that's going to be true or not. But these are both great machines. We have both of them in our club. Our club itself owns the 50. Lots of the members own 50s. We have a couple members that own 30s. They love them. You can just take this out on the back porch and use it, immediately. You don't even really have to know anything to do it. The one thing I will say about the C-Stars that I have enjoyed more than anything is that my neighbors, I will put that thing out on my deck or in the front, put it out in the front yard during the day, and people want to come over and see the sun on it, and that is as an outreach tool. I have little kids behind me and to the right of our house, and they want to see this all the time. They never get, and you can hand them your phone to move to make it move around, and they love nothing more than moving it, picking something on there. And unfortunately, a lot of times they'll pick something that's underground, but it just there's nothing like that for a kid, to say when they saw. Not this year, but last year when the rings of Saturn were tilted and you could actually see something. When they could see that for the first time, they're yelling out to their mom, come and look at this, so great outreach tools. All right, so whoops, I want to go through a camera comparison of the different models. So I'm going to go through this quick because they're just details. The Origin has a 6.4 megapixel camera, It's actually probably one of the largest cameras in all of the devices. It shows up in the quality of their prints. At least the ones that I've seen online. You see a lot more detail than you do on a lot of the other cameras. Most of the devices are in the 2 megapixel realm, you know. So if we look at Dwarf Labs, like I said, they're in the 2 megapixel. Spectrum is in the 2 megapixel. Unistellar uses a larger megapixel cameras, but they're also of an older origin than most of the other companies. So their newer ones, notice they're going down in the Odysseys are going down in megapixels, but they're newer chips. So Vaonis uses 8. Was their standard for the Vespera, and then the 6.4 for the Stellina. But they went with a CMOS for their Stellina, which was an interesting choice. I don't know exactly why they did that, but again, both producing great images as compared to the C Star. Yeah, and then ZWO uses again two megapixel cameras. And then now I just wanted to do this so you can see what would you see if you look through these or if you start taking photos with these. And this is sort of a field of view comparison between go there. So if you were, and I just picked the same subject so that as I go through this, you'll see what the differences would be. So with the Celestron, and this is, remember, a lot of these devices do have a mosaic ability so that you can get a bigger picture, but it takes a lot longer to do that. But if you were to just take one shot of M31, that's all you could fit in with the Celestron. With the Dwarf Lab, you can get the whole thing and you can get M33. Unistellar, there are 2 models. You can see they have a little bit of almost the whole thing, but again, you're going to be cutting off the edges of that type of target. Vaonis, again, because of the camera that they're using, they get the elongated one. So I guess I think that one sideways because you could get more of it in, but still, you're not going to be able to capture the whole thing in either of those devices. And then ZWO, that's what you'll get in both the 30 and the 50. The 30, you'll get the whole thing. 50 just barely fits it in with some rough edges around the outside. Okay, now I'm going to spend a little bit of time to look at this. As I did again, these are untouched. I mean, meaning I didn't put them in any third-party processor to do that. So this is actually, I should have left the stamps on all of them. I didn't, but so the one up here, and I can't point at those because the people online can't see that, but this one over here, this is the standard output that you get from a Unistellar. You don't have to have the circle around there and the stamp, but I just always left it on. That's the frame of view that you get on M13. Okay, this one down here on the bottom, that is the Vaonis Stellina. And that's courtesy of a friend of mine. So I did not take that shot, but that's the frame of reference you would get there. And of course, the one here on the left side, that is what you would get from the C Star S50. So you see the relative field of view there. Here's another target, M51. You can also see I did the same amount of time with each of these so that they would be relatively comparison. So these are 30-minute exposures. So that's 30 minutes on M51 again on the top right with the Unistellar, and then with the other 2 devices on there. See a lot more detail with the Unistellar than the Vaonis there, but that has to do with the process that they use in there. Notice how it looks the objects look a lot brighter on that as compared to the background. They call it deep dark technology, or I guess some term for it. But if you turn that off, it looks a lot more like the Vaonis model. Here's M20. Again, I think I did about Well, this is only 16 minutes. I did 16 minutes on each of these. And so you can see in this one particularly that the S50 is almost as good as the Unistellar at 1/6 of the cost. You can think about that. It's pretty amazing. Here's the moon. One thing about the Unistellars, the moon just barely, I don't know if they did it on purpose, but the moon and the sun like just barely fit in that circle. So you have to take notes. I don't have the circle here because the circle would be, around the moon, but it just barely fits in there. So whereas on the Sea Star and the Vaonis, you have a lot of space around the outside. You don't chop off the edges of it. But the detail is just as good again, I think, on the Sea Star as it is and you'll notice too, this is my best ability to focus here. This seems, we shouldn't point on there, but the Sea Star seems a lot more in focus than the Unistellar does. Even the Vaonis is more in focus. Here's the sun. Again, not much you can tell different with this. You do get more of a corona effect with the Sea Star. I don't know why that is, but it just always shows up like that for me. I fix it in post processing, but when you're taking screenshots, it always looks like that. Whereas the other two give you the deep dark black background around the outside. And then the next one, eclipses. So I took both the Vaonis and the Sea Star down to San Antonio during the annular eclipse, and that's where these are from. As you can see, they all take nice shots of the sun when it's an eclipse or whatever. I took them to Indianapolis for the total eclipse too, and I actually that time I decided to do video, so I did video instead of the eclipse, which is pretty neat. But they look comparable. Planets. Everybody wants to know, what do they look like in planets? Unistellar has its own proprietary algorithm. It does so when you turn a Unistellar towards a planet, you'll see, in this case, Jupiter, and it'll be bright white, and you'll see the moons. Okay. Then once it gets there, kicks in, it expands it, expands the size of and that's the size Jupiter will be. And you rarely see the moons. Every once in a while, you'll see one like that, maybe two, but it just doesn't pick up the moons that well. But it also overemphasizes the colors. You can see that on there. Basically, compared to the other ones, the colors are much brighter and there's more contrast to them. The Vaonis does a much better job at getting all the moons and things like that. So you can see that. I actually prefer that instrument if I'm taking pictures because you're taking video of it, you're taking video and stacking it. They're both the Vaonis and Unistellar have their own stacking routine for planets. So this is not stacked in the Pixel site, everything is stacked on their machine. The Sea Star does that now too, but you have to do it after you take the video. And the Sea Star down at the end was done that way. Video comparison. I don't have the video on here. I probably should take that slide out. I did have a video comparison of the eclipse from my Unistellar and from the Sea Star in Indianapolis, but I don't have that here today. Sorry about that. But they both did very well, except for coming out of the eclipse. So the Sea Star did very well at tracking it. What it did is it lost it for just a little bit and then, went back and recentered it. Whereas the Unistellar lost it and I had to move it around again to find it after the diamond ring came out. The Vaonis kept it the whole time in the field of view. So, Cause I was doing video with all three of them and I couldn't manually do it, If you were, so the Sea Star is a little difficult in the, now they have the magnetized one, but at that time they had the plastic filter. I don't know if you know, there's a magnetized one now that you can do instead. So the magnetized one works a lot better because you just pop it off and it jiggles a little bit and then it's right back. Whereas the plastic one, you can pull it off and it takes it a while to get back on. The Unistellar is like any other reflector. The cover on it or the filter on it's on the top and you have to just take that off. The Vaonis is internal, so it's a little bit different.
solar?
Yes, it's an internal one. All right. Plus minuses. So with the Celestron, it is an excellent machine for outreach if you're looking at that, but and it has a very good user interface. I've not used it. I've seen the videos on it online and stuff. Of course, with being part of Celestron is great customer support and you get easy access to the raw images. So you can just download the images directly from your Odyssey to your computer. You'll have them in FITS format. You can take your own darks, flats, whatever you want. And you have really great access to that. It's heavy, if you look at the weight on it, but the biggest downside is very high purchase cost. When you're talking $4,000 for that, if you're getting into it and you say, I just want the best picture I can, I'll be honest with you, you could buy an astrophotography rig for less than that, and get just as good a shot. So. Dwarf Lab, these are I believe my feeling is these are toys, but they're fun to play with. They're inexpensive, they're easy to set up. They've got an average user interface. It's not, like I said, it's not specifically for astrophotography, but it's good enough, Their resolution is not as great as the other instruments, but because astronomy is not its only function, if you're into astronomy, this device is going to disappoint you after a little time. It'll be, gee whiz, I got it out of the box. I was able to do stuff with it. I set it up tonight. I took some pictures of it, and now I'd like to do something else with it, and it really won't go that far. Spectrum, again, this is brand new for me, but like I said, it's the first scope with an extremely long focal length. The first, I will say this, that's the only plus I can say about it right now without having used it. The negative though is it's substantial. I mean, that first version of their user interface, I've already run into issues with it, and it's gonna be one of those things that's frustrating for a while. So probably not the thing I would jump into if I wanted to do it right now.
Is that a newer company?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, the 53 came out, I want to say like last November. I want to say, so it's been about a year, but the 127, it's only been out. Well, it came out just to give you an idea, because remember, it's new. The 127 came out, I believe, in April, and then you couldn't get it for a while because I wanted to get it, and I think it's because they had to fix some things, and then now it just came out again. So buyer beware with this. I mean, you're getting into this company if you're willing to put up with the things that I put up with, like Unistellar, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or 7 years ago. There's gonna be issues. Unistellar, I have the most to say about them because they're the ones I use the most. I use them as outreach for lowbrows for 4 years. I would always be the one in the club setting it up separately, and there are probably people in here. The night vision people would say, "Go set that up over there. We don't want that iPad, blinding people." But what happened was when we'd have our peach mountain outings, then we'd have you'd have all the Dobsonians and the Celestron C8 set up and people would be able to see that. And everybody would flock over to the iPad to watch different, because, you know, you can, not only can you show them what it's actually looking at now, you can scroll through all the things that it's been looking at. Like, hey, hey, I want to show my friend that thing you were just showing, you know, the horse head nebula. Yeah, we'll go back to it, you know. So they're really great for outreach. Citizen science is a really positive thing if you're into that sort of thing. I was for a while. I don't do it much anymore, but it is a added benefit to it that if you're really into that, you'll you even get your name in the papers that they write up and stuff. So it's fun. Battery life. That's one thing. So their devices knock the Sea Star out of the park as far as the battery. On my Equinox, I can get 4 or 5 nights out of the battery easily, whole nights. I mean, the battery just lasts forever, which is good, but I don't know how they do it. I mean, it's probably bigger battery, I would guess. There's not a lot to it since it's a reflector instead of a refractor, but it's great. Another thing, backpack. I love the backpack. I have backpack, put it in the backpack and put everything with that and go hiking up north and set it up. The user interface though is just average. It's great. It's not great. It's not poor though, and it works, but it's not like what Sea-Stars is. Sea-Stars is much better. The user access and control is a plus and a minus. And what I mean by that is there are some good things about it, but like I shared with you on the focusing and other things, there's some things that are just not there that the other devices have. The access to raw images I put as a plus and minus too, because I really want I'm more into processing data these days. And so I really want access to the raw images and I want it easily accessible and manipulable. Their customer support. There's nobody from France in here, right? So they're from France, and there's a language barrier there, and it's slow. Customer support is slow there. The filters, like I told you before, that is a really questionable setup to put a filter on that thing. Manual focus, manual collimation. So I forgot to go through that. I'm not sure how this works, but collimation on that device works not with 3 knobs, but with 2. And I can't explain it. I can do it, but I can't explain it.
Have you had to collimate?
Oh, yeah. You have to do it. I've had to do it several times.
They're
Yeah.
newer ones, the Odyssey and the Pro. They say you don't have to
You don't have to
or manually
You don't have to do it with either.
You've not tried those?
No, I don't own one of those.
Okay. I'd be curious to see how much better those are.
Yeah. That like I said, I've done it. And they have great videos on it, what you're supposed to do. I cannot explain it, but 2 doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure some physics person can tell me that, but and again, they're a very high purchase cost. Vaonis, so they're really good for outreach too. Again, an iPad type device works well with them. They're very good user interface. I would say theirs is probably the best user interface. Their mosaic function was out there at the very beginning. It's only gotten better. Their mosaic function accommodates for what the other devices don't, and that is the black spaces around the outside. So they get rid of that by shrinking the image as it goes. So, which I find to be interesting. Now, it does have caveat to that. If you go too long or too far where it rotates too much, your image gets smaller and smaller, and you might cut off something you want. But I think it's probably one of the better ones. The pollution filters are built in just like they are with the Sea-Star. So very good use. And like I live in Canton, and so whenever I'm doing something out in the backyard, that filter's like always on when I'm doing an object that needs that. Easy access to the raw images. You plug it into your computer like most of the other devices. The tripod though, and I should have said this with the with the Unistellar. The tripod is just average for this. One of the downsides of the Unistellar is it's a great tripod, but the mechanism that they used to, I've had one of mine replaced, and they sent me a new one for free. But you can't ever use that tripod with anything else because it's proprietary, So anyways, they have just an average tripod, but yeah, so I put it plus or minus, it is what it is. They have a lower battery life, so I struggled to get a night out of a Vaonis, because it uses a lot of power. Again, and it's a high purchase cost for that.
And you run like an external power supply for those, but they have.
You can, yep, you can with all of the devices, you can do that. I tend not to do that. I have one of those, I can't even think of what it's called. I have one of the battery things I bought on Amazon. Yes, it's one of the prime name ones. But anyways, I tend not to do that. I do that. That battery is for my astrophotography rigs because they eat up the power. But yeah, you can. I just don't. I typically don't do that. A lot of times, too, with these devices, if my wife has friends over, and it's winter, cold out, I will set this up outside and then cast it from my iPad onto the TV. People really like that. So. And ZWO, they're plus minus. It's again great for outreach. Very good user interface, easy access to the raw images. I don't know if any of you have downloaded the raw images to the PixInsight or whatever tool you use, but it's really easy to do that. No need for darks or flats for that. You do need to dither, but again, you can get good results without doing that, but easy access to the images. Again, if you're, I don't know how many people are familiar with, processing that inside of like PixInsight or whatever, but you can use the same tools, just ignore the error messages you're getting from PixInsight because it doesn't need a lot of things that you normally need whenever you're doing, whenever you're stacking the images. It's a low cost, it's very light. People always say to me, the best telescope is the one you use all the time. This would be my best telescope, even though I have more expensive rigs, because I can use it all the time. I can just pick it up and put it out there. I don't use their tripod. A lot of people still use the little tripod. I actually have it on a ZWO tripod, and I have a equatorial, William Optics equatorial wedge, because I use it in equatorial mode most of the time, but I don't use their tripod. Their tripod is it's not good, I would think. There's a word to put that. It's very small. It's got to fit in that little case. The leveling routine. So most of the people in our clubs who have them have all bought a leveler to put between your whatever, even if you're using Alpazima, a leveler between your tripod and the device, because that's a lot easier to do the leveling that way than with legs or whatever. I find that you almost need that unless you don't care about the leveling, but it comes in really handy when you're trying to, so if you've had your S50 for very long and you're trying to go up to 60 seconds and do equatorial, you're going to need to level it well, and you're going to need to have some device that's going to level it, because you're going to get less than stellar results if you don't do that.
Is that fun?
Yes. All right, conclusions and questions. So this is what I always say when I go through this, is what are these devices good for? Well, the number one thing they're good for is outreach. As you saw with, it doesn't matter whether it was the worst one of these or the best one. They're really great for outreach. That's what they excel at. It's a visual generation out there. They want to see it. They're used to being on devices. They love seeing the photos. That's how I got started too, but. Younger people just, they gravitate that. There's nothing better than having a kid say, oh man, look at that. And you tell them it's just like any other application that they have on their iPad. They can actually put their fingers on it and go like this and make it and spread, and zoom in on it. Nothing like that. You can't do it. I'm sorry, but you just can't do that looking through that. You got to take your lens out and get a new eyepiece to do that. You can't beat that. The gradual increasing of the quality of the photo over time as people will just come over and they'll just stare at that screen for a while. So as far as outreach, our group uses this at almost every outing we go to now, both the one that's part of our group and individuals who bring theirs. So I would say number one, that is their best thing. Now, for astrophotography, you will never get photos that are as good as you can with a dedicated astrophotography rig. You can get sort of close, but you're never going to get there. So if you think you can get your data to look almost as good as the Hubble, these devices will never help you. So, you're going to end up spending a lot more money, a lot more time, a lot more frustration, a lot more software, a lot more processing. I've done both. I love processing data, but as far as just what can I get in the next half hour, you cannot beat these machines, especially for the price. So that's really my conclusion. That's what they're good for. That's what the devices are good for. Also speed. I guess I should say that too. There's nothing like being able to go out in the backyard and say, I don't know if any of you have used the program yet for the C-Star S50, but you can program, I want to go through these 10 objects, right? And here's what I want to do. And it's just going to go through them one after another. There's nothing like that. You can, I can zip around the sky. If there happens to be clouds over M13 right now, I go to M5. If the house is in the way of M5, I can go, I can go to M1, So there's just beautiful ability to change on the fly like that and get a lot of targets in a little bit of time. What questions do you have? I would love to. I'd love to answer any questions.
The Vaonis, do they have equatorial mode yet?
No,
Or plans?
there are plans to it, and they've had plans for a while to do that. I don't. It's sort of counterintuitive to the way they built the rest of their processing. So, like even with Mosaic, they already have in their algorithm to get rid of the shifting black things. So it's sort of counterintuitive to now say, okay, well, I want to do equatorial too. I keep hearing that, but to my knowledge, they haven't brought that out yet. It's not in the latest version I software. Yeah.
No, I was asking what's a negative of these, and the biggest negative, because I come from very high-end, old style, separate telescope computer.
Yeah.
And I've got all ZWO set up for travel.
Uh-huh.
And the biggest problem with all of these is that they're a dedicated all-in-one solution, which means if any single component goes bad, you've now got a doorstop.
Yep.
Including the software.
Yeah, including the software.
Including the software.
You don't, that's a great, what's your name?
Bob.
Bob, that's a great point. You don't know how many people I've had out at Peach Mountain. They get their C-Star all set up, and they're still on, I can't think of the name. What is it called when you put it on your network at home? Not
Station mode.
Station mode. They'll be on station mode. They'll be out there and they can't get this thing working at all, and their night is done. Because you can't get it off that when you're out there. You got to be by the network to get it out, to change back. But yes, and I've had that with my Unistellar too, where I'm out there and I can't get a internet signal for them. And just, you know, you're stuck. If any one piece of this
Yeah.
doesn't work, the whole thing doesn't work. But whereas if you have like a dedicated astrophotography rig and your camera, you know, dies or whatever, you can still view through that, you know, or your guide scope's gone, you know, you can still view. There's a lot of that's a great point because it's a black box. I mean, it's a big black box, and if any part of that black box doesn't work, 1-800 help me with my black box. That's what it
It's
is.
also not upgradable, with the exception evidently, the Celestron Origin, they're gonna have evidently another camera option for it. So theoretically, they can upgrade cameras. On the other setups, you've got, that's it. So you have to figure out whatever you've got, 5 years, maybe 10 years outside, you're gonna be obsolete.
That's a great point too, because if you have a dedicated astrophotography rig, the telescopes are really just the lens. So like with mine, I can put on my Red Cat 51 and get a wide field image. I can put on my ASCAR 103 and get a better shot of this object, or I can put on my my Carbon Star and get, you know, you can change that up. With this, they fool you because they say, yes, you can, because look on the screen, you can say 2x and 4x, but all they're doing is the same thing any other iPad application does, and they're going to take those pixels and make them bigger. That's it. And you can see that. You won't notice it as much. So like if you take the moon and you look at it at the normal size on a C-Star or any of these devices, it looks like a good sharp image. If you go to 2x, you start saying, that looks a little bit. You go to 4x and it's like, oh, you know, what was there something wrong with it? You know, on the Unistellar, you go all the way up to 8x, but when you do that, it's like, you know, it's a pixelization, you know. So yeah, everything is digital with those. So any type of manipulation to the image is just digital. It's not quality. Yeah.
Which one is your favorite, if you only had one?
If I only had one, if I had to pick between all of them, I would pick my C-Star and put it in the backpack of my Unistellar. That's what I would do. I love that because I can carry it around. But the C-Star is like the best all around one at that cost, and I'm saying that based upon the cost too.
If cost wasn't an issue of what you have,
Do
you like your Vaonis?
I like my Vaonis the best. It has the best. But it's heavier and it's you know, it's luggable. The C-Star is, you know, it's carry-on luggage at the airport. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
I have a problem with your Origin Andromeda picture.
My Origin, I didn't have oh, you mean the one with the field of view? Oh, yeah. Yeah. What was the problem?
Cause I have an Origin and I have an Andromeda and it just, I don't understand how you got that poor quality.
Oh, no, those pictures weren't for quality. They were just for the frame of view.
Okay,
Just the size.
Okay.
There's a website that lets you choose field of view to calculate it.
Yeah, those,
Put that
no, its picture would be a lot better. Those are from astronomy tools. So those, sorry about that. I should have done more clear. Those pictures were not for quality. Those were just for how much of Andromeda you would get in the field of view. And it's from a website called Astronomy Tools. You can put whatever device in there you want, and it will show you what those what your field of view will be. Yeah. How do you like the Odyssey?
No, I have the Origin.
You have the Origin? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, she gets some nice pictures with it. You just started with it, she gets some nice pictures.
That's great.
Other club I belong to.
But it's so heavy.
Yeah.
It's so heavy.
Yes, you know what, so I don't do as much astrophotography anymore. What so I just retired from U of M last March. My retirement gift was a hip replacement. So I don't do that as much anymore. Actually, my favorite astrophotography rig right now is my Red Cat because I've got an AM5 the red cat on it, I can still just go put that out in the backyard. Anything else is a little bit much, but it's the time, with those, I spend a lot more, I spend probably 10 times the amount of time getting ready and doing everything. The amount of capture time is the same, I mean, on the devices, unless I'm doing mono, which I really like to do now, but it's like I said, the people have always told me the best telescope is the one you use. And that's why I answered the question that you asked me with the C-Star S50, because I use that more than any of my other telescopes. Because even the Unistellar, and I love the backpack, I don't get it out as much as I do the C-Star S50. Plus, I tell you what, with the people in our group, with so many people having the S50, there's always a ton of questions that I get when I go out to Peach Mountain. People are always wanting to, and everybody's trying the latest thing, like the new thing right now with the equatorial mount with 60 seconds. Everybody wants to do that, and they're why am I getting star trails? It should be should be working.
Let's thank our speaker again.
Thank you for
Give it done. Very nice.
Okay, so the WASP doesn't have an S50 loaner scope. Why? There will be one. I'm going to be making. I can't make motions. I'm going to poke somebody to make a motion. All right, so our next star party is at Stargate, October 25th. Our next meeting is at Cranbrook, November 3rd. That is elections. Our next board meeting is in 2 weeks, Monday, October 27th via Zoom. And we meet for gastronomy after astronomy at the National Coney Island, Van Dyke, north of 12 Mile. Join us there.
Who's going?
I'm going, well, we got lots of hands here, so party at National Coney Island. At elections? I don't know. We could do that, couldn't we?
We were planning on it.
Well, a speaker coming.
Yeah.
At the election one?
Yeah. Typically at Cranbrook, we have a full-line speaker and short presentation. The election fills in for the short presentation. I've got a full-line speaker also. Look, if somebody wants to bring pizza, do what you want to do.
Election officially schedule that is my guess, and when Jeff is ready to do the game, I thought that was really nice when you did that, astronomy. I think the rest of them.
Why did it get canceled?
Pardon me?
Why the last one get canceled?
Because the meeting, the auditorium was booked for a private event, and Bob missed the email Narlock sent him in April. So it's all on me. Sorry. But anyway, so a meeting's over. Go home. Good night, everyone. Safe travels. Gastronomy.
You don't have to go home, but you can't take it.
Yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Oh.